Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video, guys. How are you doing? I'm doing fantastic. Back in the office here after a nice 4-day vacation. Just me and the little guy at Disney World. It was an absolute blast. Here are a couple pictures from our trip, but I'll talk about it more towards the end of the video. But some moments I would love to share with you guys as well. Just shared on the other channel. But while I was gone, like the day I flew out, I knew I wanted to do this video, rebuilding Rhazin. It just rolls off the tongue, rebuilding Rhazin Scarhide, who I think is a permanent fusion inside the game, the only permanent legendary fusion. I've already fused him, but you guys, if you haven't yet, you definitely should. And the reason I wanted to do this video is to rebuild him because he's a champion that is amazing. He's not a top 10, top 20 champion overall in terms of his overall power index in this game. However, he is one of the most versatile champions inside the entire game, bar none. You can use Rhazin Scarhide in Clan Boss, obviously in Faction Wars, in the Arena, in Doom Tower against almost every Doom Tower boss, and in dungeons as well. This guy really is a jack of all trades, and he's very effective at what he does. He's defensive based, Lizardman Legendary, Force Affinity, which is fantastic against Force Affinity or Magic Affinity bosses, or against those other champions inside the arena. Everything kind of added up makes for one of the overall most well-rounded, powerful champions inside the game. And I don't use him. I don't use my Rhazin Scarhide, mainly because of the builds. Like, I kind of have some old defense gear on him. I'll show you, and then I want to show you what I'm thinking about how to kind of retool this champion to actually have a main purpose and use case for him on my entire account.
Hey, Old Man River, zip it or I'll break your head.
So Rhazin Scarhide, here he is. He's a beast. The only downside of this champion is his speed. His base speed is perilously low for a legendary champion, 91 base speed. That really sucks, but the good news is the rest of his kit is fantastic. He has a very hard-hitting A1, a 1.5 defensive multiplier on his A1 times 3. Has a, 35% chance, 45% chance when booked of removing one random buff from the target on his A1. A great candidate for Giant Slayer. The only reason you wouldn't go Giant Slayer as your tier 6 mastery on your Rhazin is, you guessed it, if you're only using him inside the arena, you can go either with Helm Smasher for extra damage or Eagle Eye for more accuracy to consistently land the turn meter reduction on his A3, which we'll talk about in just a moment. On his A2 though, Sheer. This is a boss killer ability. Very underrated in terms of the damage. This has a whopping 6 times multiplier off of defense. That makes it one of, if not the hardest hitting defensive single target ability inside the entire game, guys. Attacks one enemy, places weaken and decrease defense when booked, 100% land rate on a 3-turn cooldown with, again, an insane amount of damage. On the A3, an AoE attack on a 6-turn cooldown when booked decreases turn meter of enemies by 100%. So a full turn meter depletion on the A3 as well. Also has some pretty heavy multipliers on his A3. Let me check. A3 multipliers on Rhazin are a 4. 4 defensive multiplier. That's very hard hitting again. So all 3 of his abilities have some serious damage potential, guys. So let's take a look at this crappy build that I have on my Rhazin right now, and let's talk about what we're going to do about it, right? So again, I don't use him anywhere, even though I should. I'm going to show you in the only 2 Doom Tower bosses I have unlocked. It's early season at the time of this recording. So against, I believe, the Griffin, and I believe against the Magma Dragon. But again, you can use this dude as a debuffer against almost any boss, specifically Magic Affinity bosses, as we talked about, being Force Affinity. So we just have kind of like random defense and resistance gear on Rhazin. You know, whatever. It's just kind of random gear that I kind of just, you know, whatever. Wasn't using on other champions.
Being trash is pretty cool, actually. People give you like free food all the time.
He's pretty slow at 156. Again, we talked about his base speed being very low, so it's tough to get it to be very high, but we definitely want it higher than 156. Doesn't need to be like 250 or 300 or anything ridiculous like that, but we want him going a little bit faster, right? Because he is our debuffer on a lot of these teams as well. He's also great on ally attack teams or counter attack teams because of his hard hitting 3 times A1 ability with Giant Slayer procs. So we're going to be rebuilt. So right now we're not using him anywhere. there. We're going to be rebuilding him to be kind of an overall all-around champion, but more specifically for PvE content for Doom Tower, that I can use him, again, with champions like Krila Witch Arm or Falcon in the Fat as ally attack champions and my debuffer on the same team with some control vis-a-vis his A3 against Doom Tower waves. So primarily against an anti-boss, anti-wave build here, but we can use him in a flex spot in the arena, on maybe a tag team arena team, on a team as a control and damage dealer that might not necessarily have the first turn. It's not going to be my fastest arena team, but he can take a hit because he is defense based. Maybe we'll put him on an all force affinity team that we can kind of sub in there when we're going against a bunch of magic affinity champions, maybe against a Trun.
This gotta stop.
I always start building my champions with accessories first, at least with the ring and the amulet, and then sometimes I'll wait to, for the banner to see if I need the extra accuracy, resistance, or if I can just go all out defense, stuff like that. So I'm going to start with my accessories here, and then I'm going to come back at you guys, talk about what I went with, why I went with it, and then what I have in mind for the rest of the artifacts. All right, guys, so we just did the accessories over. I was able to get a very nice reaction ring on him, so a defensive reaction ring. We stayed with the same amulet here. It's going to be a nice double roll of accuracy on a crit damage amulet. So basically exactly what we're looking for. And I put this defense banner on him with a little bit of speed and defense. I want to see if we can get by with this instead of the accuracy banner that he had previously had on him. So we can get that extra defense, a little bit extra damage. And instead, I'm thinking we just keep it simple with maybe 3 perception gear sets on him. So that's going to pick us up 120 extra accuracy just on those 3 sets. So I hope that will be enough. In terms of masteries, I want to stay with exactly what I have already on him. I went with Retribution and Giant Slayer. I think that's pretty much going to be the way to go here. I want to get by, if I can, as I do with all my champions, without having to go on a support build just to pick up these accuracy masteries. However, picking up these 3 mastery accuracies and Lore of Steel is a very powerful combination, especially with 3 perception sets on. So I reserve the right to change my mind. Depends on how high we can get on that accuracy without having to go support tree. So let's see what we have for perception gear, and I will be right back after we choose some artifacts, and then we'll try him out in the brand new build and see how he does. I'll be right back. So guys, just a side note here, as I start to rebuild this champion, when I'm rebuilding any champion, I like to remove all the artifacts from them. I'm not a big changing room guy. I like to take everything off, right? So I can start from scratch and see how my stats are aligning from the beginning without being clouded by the substats of the artifacts that are already on that champion. Then I start to like talk myself into trying, and maybe I can keep this artifact, it's so good. But I like to start from scratch, a clean slate, right? So what I like to do is go do my artifact, selector area, whatever this is, and then I go to equipped, substats. In this case, I want crit rate and accuracy on. I want to see what I have in perception that has crit rate and accuracy substats, including what I already have on other champions. If I see a legendary artifact, wow. Well, you can't see the stats, but if I see it, I'm like, ooh, crit rate and accuracy. I might roll that up just to see where the first couple rolls go. And then I'll kind of select champions that I know I don't use a lot, who I might steal some gear from, right? But champions that are on my main teams, I don't like to kind of remove artifacts from them because I know I'm just going to have to deal with that in the future or right now to replace that artifact. So let me get to work here. I'll come back at you guys, in a few moments. All right, guys, I want to check back in with you here. I have 4 perception artifacts so far on him, and I already have accuracy over 300. So that gives me the luxury of not having to go with a 3rd perception set. So I basically just try to find the best gear I possibly could. I have a little bit of speed. I'm looking for HP as well because Doom Tower, it's not all about defense. You need some HP, especially for the ignoring defense abilities. Same thing goes for the arena. So we want some HP where we can find it. We will try to supplement that a little bit moving forward. But I'm looking for HP if I can find it again in the substats here. Speed, crit rate, accuracy, some crit damage as well. Really good gauntlets here. Crit damage, excuse me, with crit rate and defense and speed and accuracy. I mean, this could be one of my best gauntlets on the account. We borrowed it from Thylessa.
Excuse me, what?
Or Thylesia? Thylesia. Defense, decent chest here. We do have some crit rate and some accuracy. We're kind of low on speed. and we're really low on speed. We don't have speed boots on him yet, though. We're fine on defense. We need a little bit more HP, but we have a helmet coming. But we need a lot of our crit rate as well. So crit rate, we're good on accuracy. We need some more crit rate. We need a little bit more HP and some speed. So let's go ahead and shift the last set that we find. Maybe we'll even use 2 broken set artifacts since there's only 2 artifacts anyway. So guys, looking around, I actually found a helmet on Elegaeus that I actually like a little bit better here, or I should say, I found a helmet and speed boots on Elegaeus and War Maiden. So I'm going to pick both of those up. That will put me right where I need to be in terms of my crit rate and add a little bit of extra speed. And as an added bonus, I'm picking them both up in the accuracy, artifact set. So we get extra accuracy as well, putting us above 350, which will help us out certainly in Doom Tower and in the arena to consistently be landing all of our debuffs on our A2 and our turn meter on the A3. So let's take a look at his total stats here. I think this puts me exactly where I want to be, right? So 38k HP, a little low, but serviceable. I don't think he's going to be dying. Certainly not in Doom Tower with 4600 on the defense as well. 194, 103, 217, 352. That's exactly where we want Rhazin to be. I'm going to go through and just kind of glyph out, try to get a little bit extra on the stats. And I'm going to keep Giant Slayer as a mastery option. I'm going to keep Retribution as well. And I'll come back to you guys and we'll try them out, in everywhere in the game. Be right back. All right, guys. So it actually wasn't much to glyph out. I just got a little bit extra speed, a little bit extra defense, and that is about it. So we have a newly rebuilt Rhazin Scarhide. I'm actually really happy with how the build came out. No fancy artifact sets. I think these videos are oftentimes more fun if I have like a Frenzy or Fury or Regen or Retaliation or whatever. I will have one of those coming up on the next rebuild. I think either Curing or Retaliation. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys. So I want to show you Rhazin Scarhide in this new build in 3 different kind of use cases. Number 1, as an arena crowd control champion. Number 2, as a tank for your team, which we're going to start with here against the Celestial Griffin. It makes a lot of sense because it's a negative affinity matchup. That strategy can be replicated really in any dungeon against any boss, specifically against a spider, right? Rhazin is a great spider tank on a negative affinity matchup. He will be targeted, and usually you're going to be able to keep him alive as well. And then the third role is going to be as a damage dealer, which we'll watch against the Magma Dragon after this match. So on this team, we have Gear Grinder for a healer, support, reviver. We have Doom Screech for increased defense, and then we have Creola Ninja combo as our damage dealers. Again, Rhazin is our tank in this build on this team, okay? By the way, Doom Screech, worth noting, having an increased defense champion on the same team as Rhazin Scarhide is always going to be a good idea. He'll be able to stay alive longer. His defense scales very well, obviously with increased defense buff, but not just that, but more damage, right? Extra damage scalability because his damage is also based off defense. So it's giving you that kind of increased attack buff and the increased defense because he's a damage dealer based on defense. That makes sense, right? Last note on Masteries, guys, I did say, and we're seeing him in the Retribution defense build right now, but there's nothing wrong with going support. You actually get extra added benefit from the Master Hexer as well, extending the duration of the debuffs on his A2. So for longer battles, clan boss, Doom Tower bosses, I prefer going with Retribution. Shorter battles, definitely go with Master Hexer. So here we go, guys. Again, we're seeing, mostly weak hits here. He's in the center stage here, Rhazin Scarhide, but he is also tanking for our team. He's going to be, on the single target abilities on the A1, we'll see it here. He's going to be the subject of the torment of the Celestial Griffin. This is Doom Tower hard, but this is only floor 10. You can see him again tanking for the team in the center there, while everybody else damages and kills eventually the Celestial Griffin vis-a-vis the ally attacks. And even with the, getting some weak hits, we're still seeing the Giant Slayer procs. He's still going to deal an amount of damage that is nothing compared to Ninja and Creola, but still not negligible on this team. And those heals from Gear Grinder really helping out, man. Gear Grinder, he's grown on me a little bit. I wasn't very keen on the champion starting out. He does die at the end there. No big deal. We have a reviver on the team, but we don't even need it. So again, Rhazin put out around 300k damage, so a little bit more than our support champions, Doom Screech and Gear Grinder, but certainly nothing compared to Ninja on this squad. But that is him in a support type role. Again, I can't show you, harder level difficulties, unfortunately, in today's video, because Doom Tower just opened a couple days ago. On the Magma Dragon, now I want to show you Rhazin as a damage dealer here, guys. So we have this team. We have Rockbreaker as our provoker. We have Creola again, for some more ally attack. She's not really necessary on this team, just throwing her in there. We could really run it as a 4-person champion team. Then we have Iron Brago, who's even better increased defense option for the team. And then we have another nuker on the team in Magnar to just help us out against the waves. Both of my nukers are defense or HP based, so easy to keep this team alive. If anybody dies, it's probably going to be Krilla, and really, again, we talked about this kind of a flex option. A lot of damage off of that A3, guys. Really comparable to the A2 of Magnar, which is one of the hardest hitting HP based abilities inside the entire game. I really like Rockbreaker as well. We talked about him a few times here on the channel throughout the last couple years, but and the little fella always gets the job done. He's one of my favorite provoker options, especially against Force Affinity Magma Dragons as a Spirit Affinity champion. So here we go, finishing up on wave number 2 here. Wait till you see his damage. I think he's going to out-damage Iron Brago and the Great Magnar, who's one of the best damage dealers in the game. But you're going to see now that it's not a negative affinity matchup here. He's just an absolute maniac. Unfortunately, he was not included on that ally attack. But you can see now that Weaken is applied vis-a-vis his A2, and we have the decreased defense, look at how hard hitting his A2 is going to be. That's his A1, 75k, 25, 25, 25k damage off of the A1, not including Giant Slayer. That's pretty dang good. Let's see his A2 here, and that's his A1 again. Debuffs fell off the Magma Dragon. We do have that decreased defense on. Let's go in with that A2. Let's hit really hard, man. That's his A3. Okay, a little bit more than 100. I've seen him on previous runs, same team that I did before this recording. In the old build, he was hitting for really, really hard when I had both decreased defense and weaken, talking about 200k damage. But either way, guys, check it out, man. Iron Brago, 447. He's a tremendous defensive damage dealer himself, one of the best in the game, but no force to be reckoned with for Rhazin Scarhide. 612,000 damage, Magnar 357. Very, very effective damage dealer against bosses and even against waves. You saw how hard that A3 hit there on that first wave. We didn't even need the turn meter depletion because he took care of everybody, almost killed everybody already on that A3, but it's nice to have. We know that we're going to be going next because they have no turn meter left as well. Now let's go ahead and use him in the arena. I don't know why I'm exiting that screen. Let's use him in the arena as well to conclude this video. Again, I could be here for 3 hours showing you everywhere we can use him in the game. He's one of the most well-rounded champions inside the entire game. Let's go against this team here. 305k power. Let's build kind of a fun Rhazin team here. So do we want it? Let's build a go first team first with Rhazin. He's not that fast, but I think we'll be able to manage just fine. Let's take out Kymar. Let's take out, let's keep Ceres, and let's keep Arbiter in there. Let's take out Genbo, and then let's put in, you know, Doomstreech, the little fella, right? Let's see how this team works here. So let's go ahead and go in. Doomstreech is underrated, man, I'm telling you. He's one of my favorite rare champions. He really is. All right, so we'll turn meter boost from Arbiter. We'll go in with the debuffs from Madame Ceres, and then we'll have that increased defense that we talked about here, and a turn meter fill of 30% from Doomscreech. That's an insanely good ability, guys. So let's see how we do. Now, keep in mind, high resist Mountain King, negative affinity Harvest Jack, negative affinity Valkyrie, and Lydia as the lead with a resist aura best in the game for arena, right? So speaking of auras, though, Rhazin has the second best resist arena inside the entire game aura. That is 90, so worth noting there as well. So let's go in with the A3 and see what happens here. How many turn meter full reductions do we get? How many resists do we get here? Wow. So very effective. What do we get here? We got 2 resists from Mountain King and Valkyrie, but he's able to withstand that Mountain King blast. He's able to kill, who did he kill there again? He killed Lydia. That was good. That dealt a lot of damage. Full turn meter depletion on Harvest Jack as well. Not too shabby. Let's see if we can kill Mountain King here with the A1 of Art. And we can. Very well done, Arbiter. Easy to keep this team alive. Now, normally, Valkyrie's A2 hits very hard. Harvest Jack 2 is no slouch himself. But now, let's go ahead and AoE here. Do I want to AoE into counterattack? I'd rather land the decreased accuracy on Harvest Jack. Or kill him. How about that? How about that? So, not too bad, guys. We can just go on auto from here on out. But actually, let's see his A2. Boom. Actually, his A1. So there we go. So we kill Valkyrie there again. Weak affinity, but that's a fun Rhazin go first team. Using him as kind of an arena nuker, right? All right, guys, let's try one more team before we let you guys go. I know I mentioned that there's, other ways to build this champion or other ways to build teams around this champion in the arena. I'm not going to show you all of them, but we can put him on a high HP, high resist team, a go second defense team with champions like Seeker, champions like Tormund, or a, immunity set as well and act as a crowd control champion. There's a lot of different options for Rhazin inside the arena. Also, if you're just using him for the arena, you can go with Eagle Eye as your tier 6 option instead of Helm Smasher, or go with Helm Smasher instead of Giant Slayer. So there's a lot of options there for you guys. Let's go against this OP team, and hopefully we go first here. If not, who knows? We might be able to withstand the blow from Candrafon. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so we don't go first. That's not good. That does not look good here. But we do cut in line. All right, let's see. Okay, everybody stays alive after the Candrafon attack. Let's get that Doom Screech going. Let's get that increased defense. Rhazin comes in, boom, kills 2 of them, fully depletes Turn Meter on Mountain King. Got to worry about Arbiter, but she's already used her A4 revival ability. So we come in there, 71k to Mountain King. Thank you very much. Can we finish the job here? Rhazin, we need you, big fella. We need you. Okay, he's going to come in. He's going to have his A1 right now, I believe. I don't think his A2 is up. Let's see if we can finish it with the A1. 1, 2, 3. No, we can't. Keep in mind, we are removing buffs as well on that A1. I think we'll be able to lap her revival ability, and we will. He'll finish it with the A2, I think. Let's see. Boom! No, A1 finishes the deal. So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video rebuilding Rhazin Scarhide, excuse me. One of my favorite, most versatile champions inside the game. Let me know what you think of this champion. Do you use him if you have him? If you haven't, fused him, did this video make you inclined to do so? I hope it did. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, well, I forgot to tell you about my trip. I guess I'll talk about it next time a little bit more. You know what? I'll do one more battle, tell you a little bit about my trip. The 3 of you who hung on this long inside the video. So, it was so good, guys. Such a good time. So great to have like some quality. Not a lot of parents. Being a single parent is tough in a lot of ways, right? And there were some times on my trip where just like you want a coffee or something and there's no other, like parent to help you out, So that really sucked. However, it was still so special to just have me and a 4-year-old away for 4 days, experiencing like things through his eyes, being able to really just focus all my attention to experience things through him. I know how lucky I am. Not a lot of people are lucky enough to have those sort of experiences, to go to places like Disney World. And for me, it wasn't even about Disney World, not to sound ungrateful about it, but it was about really just living in the moment and trying to enjoy, how lucky I am, and show gratitude. And I know it sounds so corny, but this is really a mindset that I've adopted. I don't know, maybe about as I lose this battle, probably. I adopted this mindset after watching a Kyrgyzstan, is that how you say the YouTube channel name? Kyrgyzstan video about a year or so ago, and it was called The Antidote to Dissatisfaction, I believe is the title of the YouTube video. And it was all about like, one of the few things proven to make people happy, or like proven to, aside from like meditation and, family and social time, like money has never proven like scientifically to make people happy, temporarily, but not long term. But as my team goes down here, what an apropos way to end the video, right? That's how a CWA Ash video should end, but is really showing gratitude, having a gratitude journal, or it forces you to take time out to actually enjoy what you're experiencing right now in the moment, because that's all we really have is the moment, right? The moment that we're in. So I took many times on my trip to just take a deep breath, kind of look around, take it all in, all the senses, and really connect with my son, even though he's a 4-year-old. Instead of talking at him, talking with him, like conversing and just really thanking, thanking the universe, so to speak, not to sound so woo-woo about the whole thing, but just thanking for, for having these moments. Because anyway, that was my takeaway. Disney was cool. Animal Kingdom was great. A lot of people, kind of chaotic, but mostly it was just really, really enjoying the moment. So guys, now we can end the video. Thank you for the 3 of you still watching at this point in the vid, and as always, take care, guys.